The temperature is 35 degrees Celsius. It is pretty hot, and it will get hotter as the day progresses. It probably might get to 37 degrees Celsius. So imagine that I, as a human being, I am very uncomfortable because of this hot weather. Imagine what the birds will feel. They will be super uncomfortable. They have their feathers covering them. They are like 4 in a cage. They are in one place, so they are pretty uncomfortable. So today we're talking about how to manage heat stress in your layers poultry farm. Let's get into today's video. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Modupe and I am a poultry YouTuber based in Lagos, Nigeria. I make content about poultry farming business, agriculture, and mostly best practices in poultry. So if you're seeing my face for the first time, if you're seeing a video from me for the first time, welcome here, and please do want to subscribe on this channel before you leave. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for stopping again. Thank you for being in this family. So let's get into today's video. So in this video today, we're going to talk about what heat stress is. We're also going to talk about symptoms of heat stress, how you know when when the birds are stressed, when they are heat stressed, and also we'll also talk about how you can manage heat stress in your layers poultry farm, which is like the main thing in this video today. So yeah, you want to watch this video to the end because I am sure it's going to be beneficial for you and for your farm also. So when we say birds are heat stressed, what do we mean? We say birds are heat stressed when they have difficulty achieving a balance between heat body production and heat body loss. When there is an imbalance in both, then you say that the birds are heat stressed. Heat stress is also one of the most challenging environmental stressor challenging poultry, especially in the tropics. Of course, my farm is in Nigeria, so it is one of our major challenges, most especially in this time of the year. This is we're in February at the moment, so anytime from mid-January to like March, would have this issue across poultry farms across the country. And we should also note that this heat stress can affect birds of all ages. Okay, so using my farm for instance, these birds here, they are currently 18 weeks and 6 days. They are 18 weeks and 6 days. I have other birds at the other pen that are different ages. Some are 65 weeks, some are 55 weeks, and another is probably 30 something weeks. So this heat stress affects all the birds across all the ages. Chickens are very vulnerable and they are at risk of overeating. Look at them here. And that's also because they do not have sweat glands. So the symptoms of heat stress in your layers poultry farm, like when you get to your farm and you look around, you'll probably guess that, oh, okay, these birds are heat stressed. So number one is that you probably see that the birds are panting. They are currently not panting now. Like I said, it is still like 35 degrees Celsius at the time of making this video. So it hasn't gotten to that very hot time. Maybe in another 2 hours. Okay, I think I have one bird panting here. Oh, a few of them are here too, that are panting. They are opening their mouths to try to take in air. Another sign to know that your birds are heat stressed is probably when they just flipping their feathers. Another way to know that these birds are going through heat stress is when they are trying to move away from other birds. They're trying to stay alone, just trying to ensure that another bird does not touch them. So you know that, okay, this bird is currently going through heat stress. Another sign is that they probably will be stationary. They are not going to be roaming about. Another sign is increased water intake and reduced feed intake. Another sign of heat stress in your poultry farm is diarrhea. Their poo might be watery. That's another sign. Another sign is reduced egg production. They're not eating well, so the egg production might reduce. Sleeplessness is another sign of heat stress in your layers poultry farm. Then we have mortality. So there's going to be like an increased mortality among your flock. So yeah, using myself for instance, we had this issue like a few weeks back, and even still currently, but it happened like a few weeks ago. We lost like 7 birds in one day. This week we've lost about close to 40 birds at the farm. So heat stress is not like a disease where you're trying to use medication for them. No, it's probably something, it's even something you really cannot control. Of course, there are ways you can manage it, and that's what I'm going to talk about here, ways you can manage it, but you entirely do not have the power to curb it, in all honesty. So yeah, these are the symptoms of heat stress in your layers poultry farm. Now let's talk about how to manage heat stress in your poultry farm. So number one would be that you should always note the temperature. Always note the temperature. Like I mentioned earlier, at the time of making this video, the temperature is 35 degrees Celsius. I know it would get to 37 degrees at some point later in the day. Maybe in the next 2 hours it will get to 37 degrees Celsius. So just always try and monitor the temperature and familiarize yourself with it. Another thing you can do is to ensure that you have proper ventilation at your farm. And also for people who have water tanks, of course the water tanks are outside, try and get things like palm trees or raffia and have it wrapped around the tank. That's so that it reduces the penetration of sunlight into the tank, and of course you know the tank will get very hot during the day, so all that is just to shield the tank from getting very, very hot. Another thing would be that you should put ice block in their water, but then I have an issue with this ice block thing. The source of the water of the birds is from somewhere. You have to ensure that the ice block you're giving the birds is from the same source of water they are drinking. For me, I do not have electricity to get ice block at my farm, so I cannot use ice block for my birds here. Then also you're not even sure of the source of water, that wherever you're getting the ice block from, you're not sure of the source. Maybe it is clean and all that. So you have to, it's not a case of you're trying to help your birds and you are also endangering them. So that's just my challenge with with using ice block. So if you're not sure of the source, if the source is not the same water that the birds are drinking, I think you should just probably manage the heat stress another way or other ways aside using ice block. But of course, if you have the power to generate ice block in your farm, then by all means you should give your birds, you should add ice block to the water of your birds. Another thing you can do is to have foggers on water pipes like this, like it could be somewhere here. This is something I'm also trying to discuss with my plumber or the person that installed this cage, if he can help us get these foggers so that it helps sprinkle water on the birds. But now that I don't have that at my farm, so what I do is I tell my staff that as soon as it is 11 a.m. they should sprinkle water on the birds, like just sprinkle water on them, and ensure that the water doesn't touch their feed. Of course, just sprinkle water on them. So that's something else you can do. That's what I do at my farm since this heat issue started. Also, what one can also do is to ensure that you feed during the cool hours of the day. So feed around 6:30 to 7 a.m. and let them eat majority of their feed then. So let's say a particular flock are eating, let's say in your farm they eat 5 bags of feed every day, and probably you give them 3 bags in the morning, 2 bags in the afternoon. So you can try give them 4 bags in the morning so that they eat they eat majority of the quantity they need during the cool hours of the day. Then if you give them in the afternoon, try and feed them later, like probably when the sun is going down again, give them their feed at a later time. So again, using myself for an instance, I feed in the morning before 7 a.m., maybe like 6:50 a.m. thereabouts, and we feed in the afternoon at 2 p.m. but I had to shift the afternoon feed time to about 3:30 p.m. so that they don't have to eat during the very hot time of the day. Another thing to do is to ensure that you have supplements in the water of the birds. You can also add electrolytes in the water of the birds. That's another way to manage heat stress in layers poultry farm. Something else you can do if you're able to afford it is you can have fans and extractors in your farm, in your pens, so it just blows out the heat and the birds will be comfortable. That's another way you can manage heat stress in your farm. Then of course we have to consider construction of the pen. your pen should be constructed, the roof should be high so that there's going to be free flow of air inside the pen. Sometime during the day, like probably around 1 p.m. when the temperature is so high, you can check the water pipes. Try and get water from the outlets. Feel the temperature. If it is hot, then you should flush out the water in the tank and fill it with cool water again. That's another thing you can do. So for me at my farm, okay, this particular pen I am in, it has an indoor tank, like an overhead tank, but my other pen doesn't have an overhead tank. So what I instructed my staff to do is that once they come in the morning, as soon as they are done feeding the birds, they should fill water in some tanks that we have inside the pen. It's not like a roof tank. It's just like a small drum of water, about 200 liters. Just fill water there. Then once it is 11 a.m., water shouldn't get into the pen from the tank anymore, because of course by that time it has started getting hot. And another thing you can do is to check the birds for abdominal fat accumulation. If you have any mortality from the birds, you can open it up and check if there is fat in the body of the birds. That will let you know if it will be the same thing with the other birds. Yes, then also you can just ensure that everywhere is well ventilated. If there are cobwebs around your pen, try to get them off. And that's about it. That's about how you can manage heat stress in your farm, and I hope that you have learned something today. And not forgetting that if you have not subscribed on this channel, please try and do that. Please like, please share, please comment. And if you're a farmer, let me know how you manage heat stress at your farm. Let's all learn together, because what we are trying to ensure is that we have lesser mortality during this period. It's something we can't control. It's an environmental issue, and we can just try to make things easier for us. Because imagine when I said I've lost like 40 birds this week. Imagine the number of eggs I have lost, and not even the number of eggs I have lost now, the number of eggs the birds should produce for me in their cycle. So it's just really some crazy time, but then we move regardless of whatever it is that is happening. Thank you for watching. Till we see on another video. Bye bye.